Hello and welcome. This is the weekly reading for September 25th, 2023. This is going to be for all signs. And this week we're going to start out with something a little bit new. What we're looking at here is the card of the week. This tarot card represents the energies for this week and overall is going to color the reading for what Spirit's going to be giving us. This is the overarching energies, or the archetype card for this week. If we had to sum this week up in one card, it would be this one. And the card that we have this week is the Emperor. Why the Emperor? Well, that's easy. Because the Emperor corresponds to the fire sign of Aries, where the full moon is going to occur this week. And Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the planet of the week this week. This is our major planet that we're looking at. And as you can see under the figure here, the glyph for the Emperor is Mars. So what better card to fit than the Fiery Emperor? Alright, so this card is going to help us center our inner sovereignty and all of our get up and go energy. As we'll get into the reading, this is a very go, very act first, think later type of week. And this lunation is going to ignite courage as we're invited to grab authority and, literally grab life by the horns, because Aries, the ram, it goes first. It charges first. It doesn't ask questions. It goes. It's the spark of life, and it's great because it's the starting of the wheel, and it's fire. And there's so much good vitality and life and force and, oomph to Aries. But it asks questions after it's rammed into things. And Mars is known to be a little temperamental. So this week is going to be one of courage. It's going to be loud. It can be uncomfortable, though. This is going to be a week of assertion, of self-efficacy. We could develop skills and things like that, or we could be clever and such. But this is one that is for the books, and it's all about bravery and courage and healing wounds and letting go and taking charge. I feel like if Mars and Aries here this full moon is gonna show us anything or teach us anything, it's going to be all about taking charge. So on that note, let's get into the astrology of the week, and after that we will go into the reading. There are timestamps down below for those of you who just want to go straight to the reading. But those of you interested, let's get into this astrology. Now, as previously kind of hinted at, this week is all about this full moon. But before we get into that, because that is the focus, there is one other thing that happens in the beginning of the week. Now, as this video goes up, this will already kind of be in effect. But Monday is a pretty good day. It's a boost to ourselves, to our systems, to our plans and our practicality and our knowledge. So Monday, Mercury, who is now finally direct, is going to be trining Jupiter. And trines are always good things. Trines are a blessing in astrology. And when you have Mercury, the microphone of the universe, trining Jupiter, the bounty, the prosperity, the jovial planet of the universe, who's known for good fortune, it's bound to be a very good thing. So this week, because these two are going to be trining on Monday, it's a really good thing, and it means really good news to come. It's very practical. This pair isn't blowing smoke. This isn't all hype. This isn't just all talk. This is practical astrology. Jupiter is in a very practical sign right now. It's in Taurus. And because of that, it really helps ground the energy of the situation, and it makes it practical, right? This is all about practical wisdom and advice and planning. It's very, very, very good stuff. It's very quick astrology, and it's really the only thing that happens towards the beginning of the week. But as we get to the end of the week, which is where all of the action happens, our focus shifts to this moon. So this full moon, it kind of feels a little bit like an eclipse. It's not an eclipse, but it feels like one basically because of where all of the astrology is happening. So honestly, it might as well be one energetically. And let me explain that just a little bit. Mars, the ruler of this full moon, because it's Aries that the sign is in, is sitting in the south node. Now, this isn't a point where astrologically that eclipses can happen. And the south node, which is going to be very important this week, as well as the north node, but the south node is a point in space, or astrologically, a point that talks about what we need to release and what we need to let go. And Mars is currently sitting very, very, very close to that south node. It's in Libra, and Mars isn't very happy in Libra. And then we have Chiron, who is the wounded healer, and it's next to the north node, another spot where eclipses happen. So we have a lot of eclipse-like energy this week. So going back to Mars, because that's our focus, Mars in the south node is very important. As stated, Mars has a hard time in Libra, and south node Mars is all about a release and letting go, because that's what the south node does. But Mars is a fighter. Mars is all about war. Mars is all about go. And being in the south node, it's all about fighting and cutting and severing the things that we don't need anymore, and the things that are going to hold us back, that they need to be released. So this full moon's message is helping us to release and to let go. And we need to ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that I don't need anymore? How can I channel this Mars energy, this warrior energy, to let go of and sever things that aren't serving me anymore? And being that Mars is in Libra, right? Libra is the scales. It's an air sign. It's all about balance and justice and fairness. It's literally the scales of the universe. So being Mars in this sign, there's going to be a lot of conversation, whether in our own lives or on the world stage, around what is fair, what is right, what is true, what is justice. Are we upholding it correctly? And if not, we need to aggressively fix it. It's all going to be about those types of systems. And this can manifest however you feel that it would need in your personal lives, right? This could be something so simple as, being slighted in a project and getting it fixed, right? You did all the work, or a majority of the work in a project, and your partner who did nothing got credit for it. Well, bringing that up, standing your ground, fighting for it. You did the work, you get the credit, but even more so on the world stage, especially with what is going on, right? There's so much that is not right with our world right now, especially in the United States. And being that Mars, who is the voice of the people a lot in astrology, is in the sign of Libra. And as we'll talk about in a second, the sun is right next to Mars. The sun is in Libra as well. The focus, or the light on the stage that is the universe, that is the world. The sun being like that stage light in a Broadway is on the justice system. It's on the legal system. It's on the scales of what's right and true and just. It's already shining its light there. And being that Mars is now present, the warrior energy is now present there, change can be brought. And the full moon happening in Aries brings us even more so to that fighting warrior energy. So, as said, there's going to be a fight here with Mars and the Sun, and this fight's going to be focused on balance and justice and fairness. Now, also kind of mixing in with all of this, we have Venus. This is the planet that rules Libra, where Mars is at. And, as a little side note, Venus is kind of Mars's opposite in a lot of ways. These two have kind of a romantic flair in astrology, where one chases the other, right? But in this sense, elementally, astrologically, they're opposites. Venus is calm, cool, collected, about love and beauty and art and groundedness. It's an earth planet. It's an earthy and elementally earthly planet, where Mars is all fiery and go and projective, and Venus is receptive and gentle and calm, and it rules Libra. Now, Venus is in its third and final square to Uranus. Now, Uranus loves to mess things up. Really, the words that would best describe Uranus are surprise and chaos. Now, this square between Venus, who is ruling Libra, where this full moon is at, well, where Mars is at, which rules the full moon, so it's all kind of interconnected. This is happening, this little square, on the day of the full moon. So this is going to be a very loud, very disruptive moment. Friday is not going to be quiet. And full moons, as of new moons, or any really major lunation, personally, we can feel them building within, like I say, a period of 3 days. So you have the day before, the day of, and the day after. So honestly, I wouldn't really be surprised if we felt this as early as Thursday. Definitely on Friday. And probably well into Saturday. This will most likely carry us out of September and into October. So there's a lot of loudness here. There's a lot of disruptiveness. There's a lot of chaos. I'll be keeping my eye on the world stage with all of this, but just know that this is a very loud week, and use that energy to your advantage. Where can you channel that Mars energy? Now pair that back with Chiron, who's in the North Node. What deep wounds have we been ignoring that we can bring to life and bring to light and heal and let go and transmute through the fire of Mars? And how can we work with the practical astrology, the practical news that Mercury and Jupiter gave us in the beginning of the week? Now, know that Friday will be a loud moment, and full moons bring heightened emotions. They bring heightened awareness. They bring extra sensitivities. And because it's a very fiery moon, things can be a little harsh already on itself. Mars likes to cut, and Aries likes to act, then think. So, I know Aries isn't just that, but we're boiling it down here. Tempers can be on the rise. Emotions can fly off the handle. Chaos and surprise and loud things are the theme of this full moon. So watch yourself in terms of heightened emotions and words, and if at all possible, try to walk away. Try to calmly discuss things, though that's probably going to be an impossibility this week. Other than all of this drama with the moon, Saturday, Mercury in Virgo is going to trine Uranus. Now, this will bring innovation and good ideas and practical astrology once again. So we've got a mix of good, helpful stuff at the beginning of the week. We've got some practical innovation at the end of the week. But this full moon is going to be loud, and it's going to be fast. So buckle in. All right, that's the astrology. Thank you so much for hanging around for this. Now let's get over and look at the reading and get the cards for this week. All right, see you on the other side. Let's take a look at the 4 cards here that we have today and see the message that Spirit is going to give us for this week. As we've gone over already in the card of the week and for the astrology of the week, Mars is going to be a major player this week, along with the full moon in Aries. And honestly, really, that's kind of the themes for the week. A lot of what is going on, but we already covered in the card of the week Astro Update segment, is in this reading. So here we go. We start the week with the Knight of Swords as our overall energy for this week. Our second card, which is in our known position, is the Lovers. It's followed by the Seven of Swords in our unknown or subconscious position. And the outcome for the week is the Six of Wands, which is a very good card to have. So some key words here for the reading this week. Our Knight of Swords is all about action. It's all about drive, impulse. This is Mars as a card, especially for this week. Now, this is an air sign, and Mars is fire. But in terms of the knights here, the drive, the speed, the warrior energy, the go, that's Mars, right? In our reading for this week, the full moon in Aries, right? Aries is ruled by Mars. This is our energy. Our energy is a very go, go, go kind of energy this week. And that's present there in our Knight of Swords. Now, the next card, the Lovers, this is all about decision and, bringing yourselves together and partnerships and duality and balance and, two sides to a thing. And then we have our Seven of Swords here. This card can be about deceit. It can be about hidden things or lying. But it's also a card of strategy, of manipulation, of planning, of moving things around the board. This is a very chessboard type of card. It can be kind of negative in sense of that it could be about lying and deception, but it's a very strategic card. It's a very mental card, being a sword, and it doesn't always have to be negative. Now, it's paired next to our Six of Wands, which is all about victory. If this card had one word that described it, it would be victory, and we have that here. So, as for the reading for the week, it looks very, 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 very good. Things are going to move fast. This week is not going to be one that slouches. This is not going to be a week for, sitting around and just contemplating. This is a week of action. This is a week of movement. This is a week of change. This full moon in Aries is going to bring a lot of fire. It's going to bring a lot of energy. This is a very loud week. Very, very loud week. Whatever that means for you. Now, you can look in your chart to see what sign Mars is in, because that would help color what's going on with Mars. Now, Mars, as we covered, is in Libra, and it's in a spot that it doesn't quite like, and right, it's next to a south node. It's next to points of eclipses. Mars isn't quite happy right now, and it is an agitator. It is a go-getter. It is the planet of war, right? It acts first and thinks later. And that kind of is the Knight of Swords. But the energy for this week is very much get up and go. It is very much do it first, then think about it. You do need to be careful with that. And I think that's why the Seven of Swords is in the unknown position, or at least in the subconscious position, because words and actions have consequence, and you need to be strategic. You need to make sure that you're making moves. Yes, go, make the moves, fight the fight. But make sure that when you're making these moves that you're strategic about it. Make sure that you're not causing pain or deception that this could do. Also be careful of things happening with you from others about deception, right? We're in Libra. This sign is happening in Libra, right? Mars is in Libra. Yes, the full moon is in Aries, but it's ruled by Mars. So wherever Mars is at helps color this full moon. Now Aries is all about new beginnings. It's all about new birth. It's all about the spark of life. It's very loud and fiery and dramatic. And we see that with our Six of Wands, right? Our fire energy brought from there. It's a victorious card. It went out, right? The Knight of Swords. That's interestingly that we have the bookends here. The Knight of Swords went out and did the fight and did the battle. But the Six of Wands is the victory parade, right? The war's already won in this sense of things here. So the Knight of Swords paired with the Six of Wands says there will be victory that comes of this week. Now, you might not see it this week, but there is the victory there. And going back to Mars, right, because Mars is in Libra, it's all about balance, it's all about justice, it's all about fairness and fair play. And it's an air sign. Libra, the scales, is an air sign. So we see here with our Seven of Swords, which is an air sign card. Swords are all about words and communication and the mind. It's very air heavy. That we need to be careful. We need to measure up. We need to weigh up our decisions. We need to weigh up our words. We need to be careful with our planning. And this is all very practical. Very, very practical astrology. It's a fiery astrology. It's an airy astrology. But in overall, it's very practical. And this is a very practical week. And with Libra, we bring in the lovers, right? We bring in the duality. Now, the lovers are ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is another air sign. So we have more air energy. But the lovers are two sides of the same coin. They bring about duality, of hot and cold, and black and white, and good and evil, and, all of those things, though things never are that black and white, no pun intended. But they bring about two sides of the same coin. And being that there are two of them here, the lovers, yes, ruled by Gemini, they are hinting back, I feel. They're hinting back to Libra, to the scales, to the two sides that need balancing. And the lovers are about harmony, are about decision, are about unity, of coming back to yourself or pairing with something that brings you wholeness. So this astrology and this week being shown in the cards is how can we be victorious, bringing something together, being thoughtful, being planning, being strategic with our words and our thoughts, and then our actions, the Knight of Swords. It's not just thinking about things. It's going out there, Knight of Swords, and achieving the victory. That brings balance, that brings harmony. Now, these might not be something, it might not be something easy, right? It might be, for you, a traumatic event. Not in the sense to scare you, but like, it could bring up an old wound. It could be something that we're having a hard time letting go of. Because again, the South Node is in the mix here. Mars is right next to the South Node. And it's what's all about letting go and shedding and getting rid of what's holding us back, or what we no longer need or no longer serves. And being that Chiron is next to the North Node, and it's the wounded healer, both of these are very much intertwined. And the Sun is also next to Mars in that South Node position. So we have that access of the wounded healer and the warrior and the Sun, which shines the light onto things and gives things energy. And because the Sun is in that South Node, this has probably been a week, or probably been a little bit, that a lot of us have probably felt drained. Now, there is a lot going on in the world, but just energetically wise, when the Sun is in that South Node, right next to that area, it can drain the life force, because the Sun is our vitality. Now, it affects more than others, depending on where the Sun is in your chart, and whether your day chart or night chart. It can get complicated and things, but just think of the Sun as the life-giving force, and Mars being a fire sign, and rules fire signs, ruling Aries, Mars being a fiery planet. The Sun is very, very important with those aspects. Now, even though Mars being on the night team, right, Mars, the night team being ruled by the Moon, the Sun there is shining the light, is kind of like how Mercury will give a microphone to whatever it's next to. The sun is shining the light, or giving the stage light to Mars, saying, here's the act. Watch Mars. Pay attention. And because Mars is so fiery, and because Mars is interacting with that wounded healer, this is all about balance, being in Libra. This is all about balance. This is all about fairness. This is all about justice. This is all about victory, being whole. How can we be victorious in what we do? And how can it be fair? How can it be just? How can we be thoughtful and strategic with our actions? And what things do we need to do? What things do need to be done to bring this balance into fruition, right? What things do we need to look at and let go of and disregard? What things no longer serve? What wounds are we carrying around that we need to look at and to heal and to acknowledge? What things need to be brought into the light of day, into the light of the sun? And once we figure out those things, we can plan. We can work with our inner knowing, and we can plan a movement forward that would allow us to bring balance to everything. Alright, so that's the reading for the week. I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully something in this reading resonated with you. If you did, please leave a like. It helps me know that you resonated with the reading. As always, down below there'll be links for the cards used in this reading and for the free birth chart software that you can use to find out where Mars, the Sun, Libra, all those things that we talked about is in your chart and how it will affect you personally. This was a general reading, so if you'd like a personal reading, there'll be links down below as well. Otherwise, have a good week. Thank you for coming to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!